Movies that sparked something in my mind that was like, whoa, this is another conversation. I see this really deeply. I see it deeply than I think other people in the theaters are seeing it. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo, and you all requested a part 2 to my part 1 video. Actually, this is basically a part 3 of my video on shows that I think that are like conspiracies that I thought in my mind, shows and movies, right? And I talked a little bit about a couple of movies that I just got some insight about spirituality or apocalypses or afterlife from those things. You can go back and watch that video. It is right here. So in this video, I'll be talking about, these are all movies actually, and I got some notes down here. Movies that sparked something in my mind that was like, whoa, this is another conversation. I see this really deeply. I see it deeply than I think other people in the theaters are seeing it. So let's get into the video. The movie called A Beautiful Mind, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is about a man who is a math professor at a college, and he starts to develop a few friends. So he starts to talk to these friends. I think he has a friend who's a grown man, and then he has a friend who is a little girl, and he starts to see them all the time. But then he realizes that other people can't see them. Now, this math professor, he's really good at math, and that's kind of like his skill set. So the movie shows him kind of being able to, it's really his gift to figure out math equations. But the reason that he is able to see this man who's his friend and then the little girl is because he has schizophrenia, and it starts to affect his daily life. And this is real talk. Mental illnesses is something that affects your day-to-day life, and so he starts to struggle with a little bit to where, and I'm fast forwarding to where it affects everything. It affects his job. It does affect his marriage. He does have a wife, and I believe also his wife maybe was pregnant or they had a baby or something like that. But it was to the point where his wife, I think it was his wife, took him to a mental institution and had him do shock therapy and put him on medications. And long story short, after he had the shock therapy to mitigate him from seeing things that were not there, he actually lost his ability to be good at math. He lost his innate ability that became so prevalent to him as a teacher that whatever therapy they did to him in his brain, it also inhibited him from his gift. And that is what I see a lot in modern medicine. I did another video a while ago on plant medicine and herbalism, and talked a little bit about the FDA drugs and all that. And I think that anytime you're altering the state of your mind, you have to be a little bit cognizant about why you're doing it. Is it to mitigate something that is affecting you, but is that thing basically so big that you are willing to affect other things that come with it? Because it's difficult to put yourself on a inhibitor of some process in the brain without affecting another process that you actually want to keep. So for example, if you're on ADHD medication and you like to play sports as well, and you want to mitigate the non-productivity that can often come from ADHD because you're so overwhelmed from your thoughts. But what you end up doing is also mitigating your ability to be good at whatever you liked, which was playing sports. It always comes with another sacrifice that you have to make. Almost always. And I think that's what that movie brought awareness to. It also brought awareness to other things, and it was a really good movie. I would definitely recommend watching it. But it changed my perspective a whole lot on the way that FDA drugs are regulated and the way that we see mental illness, because sometimes it's not that the mental illness is an illness at all. It's more of a gift. And the way that the government, really, because it is the government, the FDA is government regulated, and it's very, very intertwined in politics as well, but labels mental illness as an actual illness, it takes away the fact that mental illness also comes with a gift, that if you take away the very thing that is egging on the symptoms of the illness, and you take away something more precious. And the crazy thing is, a lot of medications just put a band-aid on the symptoms without even attacking the root cause, without even looking at the root cause. I've experienced this kind of firsthand with a therapist wanting to prescribe me with anxiety medication. Wasn't even sure if I had anxiety symptoms that were relevant to put medication on, but just to attack those symptoms before she even dug deep into the root cause of why I was having anxiety symptoms. But you know, it happens. The next movie I want to talk about is a movie called Horton Hears a Who. And I feel like it'd be these kids movies that are the deepest movies ever. So Horton Hears a Who is a movie about a elephant named Horton, and he's walking through a forest one day, and a forest full of flowers, and he starts to hear this noise. And he's like, where's this noise coming from? He starts to tell other people, oh my gosh, there's a noise and it's coming from one of these flowers. People think Horton is crazy. Why would there be a noise coming from a flower? That doesn't mean anything. I'm going back to what I'm doing. So people would ignore Horton just like that, but Horton was determined. So he went through all the flowers and found the flower that was making a noise. And what he discovered was that on that flower, there was a speck, and on that speck, there was a whole city living on a flower, on a speck, called Whoville. And Whoville was struggling with some things. The mayor needed help with some things. So Horton was trying to communicate with the mayor of Whoville back and forth, because they kept experiencing Whoville, the town of Whoville kept experiencing bumps and thumps, which were basically the gravitational pulls from being a flower on Earth. How ironic. So the whole movie honestly is about, to me, it was about the fact that on our version of Earth, or on our version of reality, we are not aware of what is above us or what is out in the atmosphere. And I view Earth as that speck on that flower. I view Earth as Whoville. And sometimes we can be so oblivious to contacting the outside world, or the fact that there could be contact coming from the outside universe or universes to Earth. But we're just on here on Earth, and that's the only life form that we know. That's the only life form we're concerned with, because we're only really concerned with what we can see. So that movie was really impactful for me, because I definitely believe in extraterrestrial life. I mean, we've seen videos on YouTube. The parts of the government has come out and said that there were sightings of extraterrestrial activity, and we all know that it's out there, right? By the way, if you didn't know, this channel is all about dedicating a journey towards a better mind, body, and spirit connection, of maturity, of self-growth, of self-love. And if you are on your lock journey, like if you have locks like I do, then I'm having my Crown Connection retreat, and it's going to be our retreat, not just my retreat. And I'm having it in Pennsylvania in May of 2024, and I would love for you to come. This retreat will be a 5-day experience filled with laughter, fun, joy, and plenty of food. So it's all inclusive, and you can join that retreat by going to my page, holisticfitmeditation.com. If you are an empath and you're on your lock journey, then this retreat and this experience is for you. We're going to be helping each other embody our highest selves through community, through workshops on herbalism, plant medicine, embodying your highest self, and curating a holistic lock care regimen. And if you're interested in that, this is the opportunity for you. The early bird tickets are on sale now, so go to my website and you'll get 20% off and flexible pricing for a limited time. Also, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this. And let's get back to the video. And so Jim Carrey plays this guy named Bruce, and Bruce does not enjoy his life all that much, and he wants to bring some more spark into his life. One day, God, played as Morgan Freeman, comes to Bruce and says, "Hey Bruce, like, why don't you have my powers for this limited time, and you get to be God. You get to decide how the world works." And so Bruce, there's this really funny scene where Bruce and his wife are getting ready to, like, you know, make love or whatever, and then Bruce, like, he pulls the moon in closer, so that's like literally right outside their window, and she's like, "The moon is so bright," and then they start like making love and stuff like that. But this movie shows how we are always trying to be God in our life. We're always trying to be in control of something. Raise your hand if you're a control freak. I see you. Raise your hand. Don't be shy, right? And like, the thing that happens when we try to control things and put things into our own hands is that we start to bring things into shambles. It's never going to go how exactly we want it, even if we do manipulate time how we want it. Get that? Like, it's still not going to go how we want it to, because what we want is not always what we really want, because we don't even always know what we want. So what he was doing and what was able to manipulate, he was, you know, making cars move out of the street in order for him to drive to work. Everything was going his way, until he noticed that it wasn't bringing any more happiness into his life. I mean, he was happy for a time, but at the end of the day, he wanted just to be a normal human being again, because he realized it was more work. It was so much more work to be God, to be in control, than to just let things fall into place and trust God. It was so monumental because sometimes we get the idea that we're bigger than God, that we ourselves are God, that there's nobody else that we need to lean on or to trust. And sometimes that's the reason why you don't have joy in your life, because there's nothing else that you're living for that's bigger than yourself. It's just you and your meat sack. And after you, there will be still the world. But we have to learn not to want things that we don't have, because there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies, which movie is your favorite out of all of them, and maybe I'll do a part 3 or part 4, whatever part this was. Give it a thumbs up, and also stay subscribed to the channel so you can see more videos just like this. And I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.